Floyd Mayweather announces he'll fight Jake Paul and 50 Cent after fighting Logan Paul. And knuckleheads, I want to know, is this good or bad for boxing? You know, when I look at Floyd Mayweather's career, for me, I see an amazing, illustrious career. A guy who, in my opinion, did it better than anybody else as far as being a pure boxer. Just a marvelous technician in the ring. My number one pound for pound GOAT of all time, if you will. And, you know, he also did great things for the sport in that he brought a lot of money and a lot of attention to the sport by being the heel, right? A lot of people came to watch him lose. Of course, a lot of people came to watch him win as well. But a lot of people came to watch him lose. The point is, a lot of people came to watch him. He brought a lot more eyes to the sport and he helped grow the sport. But some of his actions have been damaging to the sport as well. I mean, listen, I say this as a Floyd Mayweather fan, and again, as a guy who thinks he's the best of all time. Some of his actions damage the sport of boxing, right? His emphasis on the undefeated record, for instance. I mean, that is something that has really taken hold in boxing to the point where you don't even get competitive fights anymore. I mean, we're seeing A-side versus B-side fights left and right, and those are obviously a symptom of, this almost toxic sociopathic need to maintain the undefeated record. It's just not realistic, and it insults the intelligence of real boxing fans and turns them off. And then you've also got this culture where, they bring these young fighters, and I've seen it time and time again, to other countries where, they use the population of those other countries as fodder for the fighters, right? They use them as chum, sort of like chum to a shark. They just, the fighter just runs through these kids that have no shot, who believe they have a shot, who want the opportunity to compete. They get run through. They have no chance anymore with that loss on their record or multiple losses on their record to provide for themselves and their families. And it just becomes a very sad situation where, if anybody loses in boxing now, it's a huge deal, unlike in MMA where you're sort of expected to lose at some point. So he's definitely damaged the sport of boxing as well. And, does this move help or hinder the sport of boxing? Well, in my opinion, while these gimmicky, goofy circus sideshow fights can bring a lot of attention to the sport of boxing, and that's the name of the game, right? We want to get popular. We want to get a lot of eyes on these sports so people can make a lot of money and make a living. But the people that are benefiting from all these eyes on the sports are typically guys that are already getting money, guys that are already popular. For example, a situation like this with Floyd Mayweather and Jake Paul. Now, there is a way to have your cake and eat it too, right? And that would be to load the undercard of Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul with a bunch of young guys from Mayweather's stable, for instance. And listen, I imagine that's what he's going to do. I hope that's what he's going to do. He's a businessman, and it would not only benefit himself, but his business and his stable to do that. But that being said, I haven't seen that done. Even in the Tyson versus Jones fight, I mean, there was maybe one and a half fights on the undercard where we had people who actually take this sport seriously and want to build a future in the sport get any sort of shine. The rest was, celebrities. So my question to you, knuckleheads, and so far I think it's been a hindrance, these gimmick fights, because as much as they've brought attention to the sport, they haven't brought attention to the fighters that need it and haven't really grown the sport, if you ask me. So my question to you is, do you think these gimmicky fights hurt the sport, or are they good for the sport? Is Floyd Mayweather's fighting Logan Paul and 50 Cent and Jake Paul good for the sport, or is it bad for the sport? Leave your comment below and then hit the like button when you're done writing your comment below. Smash the subscribe button and then hit the bell notification icon next to it so you know when we're on. And also consider joining the channel, the join button below. Join the channel, you guys. Just $5 a month. You can help me not only build the channel, but build the only kickboxing promotion that matters. A promotion where we actually emphasize young fighters that are working hard to make it in the sport and give them a venue and a platform to compete. By becoming a member, you not only get access to our live pay-per-view events, you also get to be part of our monthly member meetings, which we had our first one today. They're typically on the first of every month. And you also get discounts to FightersRep gear. Below, we got 6 shirts, hoodies, masks, tank tops. And anything you guys purchase in the links below, it gets reinvested back into the promotion. It helps me build the channel and the promotion. So, Knuckleheads, I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say about this. I think it's laughable. But, again, you can have your cake and eat it too. Stack that undercard with some TBE talent. And then everybody will be happy.